Jeff Todd from MLB Trade Rumors here. Today is Thursday, January 30th. Let's get you caught up. There may not be a more obvious case of service time manipulation than that of Kris Bryant in the Cubs. You may recall back in 2015 when the top overall prospect in baseball was finally brought up at the exact moment at which the team would be able to control his rights for that season and 6 more to come thereafter. Had they brought him up even a day earlier, it would have meant losing that last 7th season of team control. Fast forward to yesterday. There was a grievance proceeding brought by Bryant and the players' union on his behalf, arguing that service time manipulation violated the collective bargaining agreement and seeking to give him service time retroactively and make him a free agent 1 season earlier. Clearly the stakes were high for both sides. There could have been huge implications for Bryant, who would have reached free agency 1 season sooner and potentially had much greater career earnings, and also for the team, which would have lost out on the year that it was trying to pick up in the first place. This gives certainty to Bryant's contractual situation if the team wishes to try to trade him in the next 2 weeks, or at the trade deadline, or next offseason. It also has a big impact on any extension talks that might occur. We still don't know how the Bryant situation will play out. He's giving the indication that he does not have any ill will towards the team. We're hearing some beginnings of rumors, including an exceedingly far-fetched Nolan Arenado, Colorado Rockies scenario, but really we haven't seen any clear indication that there's going to be a trade in the immediate future. Now, I wrote about the broader issue quite a bit yesterday in discussing this matter. Seems to me the clear takeaway is that there's going to be a very high bar to winning an action of this kind, arguing for service time manipulation. In this case, so far as we know, there is no evidence that the team specifically was trying to hold down his service time to keep him from reaching the open market. But perhaps you can imagine a scenario where such evidence existed. That might make for a different case. In the meantime, again, hard to find a case that would have been any more compelling than this one. Everyone agrees that our best players need to be in the game as soon as possible. But finding a way to force teams to do so, creating a rule to do it, very, very difficult in my opinion. Do you remember Scott Kazmir, the former top pitching prospect who became a 3-time big league all-star and had a dramatic comeback and all that and kind of rode off into the sunset a few years ago? Well, folks, he's back. Kazmir already sat out the 2012 season before getting back on his feet and turning in a couple of really nice campaigns until injuries once again cut his career short. Kazmir is throwing off a mound and he's telling teams he's just hoping for a shot to show what he can do in camp. He's already been with 6 clubs. We'll see if he can add a 7th or return to one of his prior teams. Now, we talked about it here and we've been writing about it for quite some time, but the Reds offseason continues to be interesting. Could Nick Senzel be made available now that Shogo Akiyama, Mike Moustakas, and Nick Castellanos are all in the fold in Cincinnati? Not so fast, says President of Baseball Operations Dick Williams, understandably not anxious to deal the 24-year-old. He calls him a young impact hitter. He notes that guys like that are not easy to find. There's no question of that fact. Senzel hasn't quite yet done it in the majors, but he's long been regarded as a huge prospect, and he's torn up pitching in the upper minors. The team may not have a clear role for him at all times, but his versatility would certainly come in handy, in particular with Eugenio Suarez expected to miss time early in the season. Senzel can help fill in the gaps in the infield. At the same time, you have to think that the Reds are at least open to considering scenarios involving him. They could really use help at shortstop, also behind the dish. Trading Senzel would be tough, but what if it meant bringing in a big star at one of those positions? Perhaps we can't rule out a deal just yet. Thanks as always for being with us. Be sure to like and subscribe below.